Oh, dude, that was fucking perfect. I was like, yeah. He's like, wait, what? How does one go about getting a bird? Oh, well, you have to be a falconer.
You have to have rich white man hobbies.
You have to have, like, yeah, definitely those things. So, let's kick this bitch off. Howdy, welcome to this week's episode of Vikings, Outlaws, and Cowboys. My name is VIKINGS the Bearded One. You can call me JT for short. And I am accompanied by the refined-looking Alex the Earl Martinez.
The broken eye looking.
Oh, that's fair. There was a lot of broken eye shit going on around here.
Yeah, it's better than having the freaking Ebola or whatever. Fuck's going on.
You're just fucking passing shit around,
dude.
House,
I'm
man.
just.
Have you tried to
bobbing
sage?
and weaving, dude. Bobbing and weaving.
Obviously, you saged your office, but you just forgot the rest of the house.
Dude, that shit just gives me like allergies.
Oh man, that makes sense too.
It's like burning tumbleweeds in your fucking house.
That's fair.
I mean, I get that it has its place, but yeah,
dude, we got some fucking.
There's no woogie boogie here. It's just fucking dumb.
So we got some good updates today. I got to tell you real quick before you jump into some shit. I happen to have one of 3 bottles of OG left at my house. I'm doing this right now, so the boat can be jealous as fuck.
One of 3 at your house, like you have 3 there, or there's like 3 in the world.
There's three OGs from a year and a half ago at my house. Now about to be 2.
Oh, okay. So let's see. Mine's 111. So mine still is probably pure gasoline.
No, dude, it probably is aged right by now. Fuck.
Well, I mean, it was pretty good, right? And then it's aging. I gotta tip it though. You know how you're supposed to tip it?
Yeah.
But I'm afraid to put it on the actual rack, on the mead rack.
Because somebody's gonna grab it.
Yeah, I don't want some bitches to do bitches things.
Yeah, I mean, I've got one. The original gasoline that we made that actually I put the labels on, I have one. I think I have 4 bottles of 1-1, but like those will never get opened because number one, I'm pretty sure that if somebody smells them, they'll go blind. Pretty sure.
Oh, dude, I have 2 in my cabinet upstairs, in my whiskey cabinet upstairs, they just have like a little like sticker on them with the date, and they were in the dark brown bottles.
Oh shit! When I did those ones,
dude, we gotta open up one. Like we gotta go to the cabin and just go blind together.
Dude, I mean that man, dude. You had me at yes. So we have some cool updates coming up. Let's talk about what we did earlier this week. This is our second podcast this week.
Yeah.
How'd that one feel?
That one burned. It burned the wrong pipe. Yeah, dude, we got to go on and be guests on a podcast.
Yeah, that was a trip,
and it was really cool too because it was like a way bigger podcast than any that I think we've been on, either individually or together. So, yeah, we got to do like a big shout out to two mics live.
Yeah, and it was a live podcast.
Yeah, so we couldn't even fuck it up. That was hard. That's a totally different dynamic that we were working with there.
I don't think that he had an understanding of like what he was getting into.
No, he had no idea.
Yeah.
But it was so much fun.
Yeah.
Super great host. Like he had no idea what he was getting into, but he totally just rolled with the punches, and I think we made some awesome connections, and
dude,
I think there's a future. We could have a future.
I think so too. There's a lot that we can collab with him on. I want to do a huge shout out to Nick. He was cool. Thanks, Nick, for that. From hitting me up at the 11th hour.
Yeah.
And like 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, they have 2 guests cancel. Nick's like, I know a guy, and I'm like, he's just, hey man, do you want to be on a podcast tonight? And I was like, sure. Like, what are you talking about? He was like, my buddy who's he's part of a podcast with Two Mics Live is like, he's doing a salute to the military tonight, and he needs some people. And I was like, cool. So then I fucking messaged you, and you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, why, what? And
Yeah, immediate born skeptic.
After some coaxing.
Yeah, well, after I saw the podcast, and I was like, oh, okay. Like, you know, I didn't know if we were gonna like be like shotgunned into the lion's den or anything. But yeah, and so in like Nick, right? It was it's totally organic, right? Like he
found us. I don't even know how he found us.
He found us and hooked us all up together, and that's kind of like one of our mental health topics today too. So,
yeah, I'm super stoked about it.
Yeah, he is legitimately like a living embodiment of the things that we talk about and the things that we want to do and try to do.
Yeah, we had it was crazy because then we both hopped into the comments after we did our little 30-minute segment, right? So for the listeners, you know, all of you guys who are out there, and you know, we have a growing following, and I just want to let you guys know, like, I really appreciate you. From the bottom of our heart, we really appreciate you guys spreading. Pardon me. But we're going to be going live and doing live form interviews with guests in the next probably 60 days.
Yeah, it kind of showed us a different platform and a different way that we could do things, and I thought that was pretty cool. And the way it was executed, you know, inadvertently, you know, those guys taught us quite a bit just by bringing us onto there.
Yeah, go follow them. They're only on Rumble right now. So y'all know they're not on any of the other platforms. But if you don't have Rumble, Rumble's a cool platform. I mean, I don't know anything at all about it. It's like, I feel like a 90-year-old trying to figure out Facebook when it first came out.
But you know, it's pretty damn close to just YouTube. So, but it's not is they don't censor people for saying mean things, and you know, you can have a long form interview that's live and say shit that normally you would get a strike for.
Yeah, we don't want to get any more strikes on YouTubes.
Yeah.
On the bad tubes, you know, because
yeah,
fucking things. I got some updates on that have come down, and then I'm gonna toss it over for something super dope that we figured out today. You can do that one. So we've got cool information. We passed our state fire marshal inspection yesterday. That's pretty dope. We also received our official storage or document that says, hey, by the way, you can have a shitter on your property, which is super dope.
Official.
Yeah, it's been filed tomorrow with the Department of Environmental Quality, which is super awesome. And yeah, dude, tossing it over to you for the final cool ass update.
Oh, that black is just hitting tonight.
Ooh, yeah.
That what was the final update? The booze is going to be coming at people day one.
Yeah, dude.
Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Because we did something proactive instead of reactive. We decided not to do it the Bearded Viking way.
That's crazy.
And the second that booze comes out of the trap, you guys are going to be able to order it day one to most of your houses and most of your liquor stores. And there's not going to be the sit around and wait for JT and Alex and the rest of Bearded Viking to figure it out. It's already figured out. The stars kind of aligned, and we're gonna be dude, we're shooting the J.
I felt like in Lion King, you know, when Rafiki tries to hit Simba like in the head, and he's like, what's the matter? Does it matter? It's in the past. And then he's like, you learned from it. I felt like that moment today.
The fact that you remember the Lion King lines. I can't remember him getting hit in the head, but you like remember the lines.
Yeah, and like he's like, father, and he runs up and he's like, Simba, you're going to be a great king. And you're like, yeah, we're going to be a fucking great mead company.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's fucking dope. I mean, super cool. I loved the conversation with the folks, and I want to do a shout out to a fellow meadery on that one because they turned us onto it. So
Yeah, that's the cool part.
yeah, so shout out to the Alchemist, the Alchemist Viking in Georgia. Georgia?
And good old GA.
Yeah, she Tamara down there, I think that she is just a badass. She hooked us up with a bunch of information. Um and I'm pretty stoked. You know, we're one of it's the Viking Alchemist meadery. And they're, you know, just it's vikingalchemist.com. And they're owned by a veteran, and they have 2 locations down there in Georgia. So you're in Georgia, listen to us. Go get some mead. You can tell us how good it is, so that way we can figure out whether or not we're gonna cruise down to Georgia. Like, I'm not really trying to get to Georgia in my lifetime. Again,
I actually really love Georgia. I do love Georgia. It's a fun place. Dude,
you love Hotlanta.
Dude, it's where the players play.
Okay.
You know?
It's just because you tried to be down there for the Braves. Yeah.
Dude, they're showing up to camp ready for the World Series. You know.
Our boy Larry lives in Georgia now.
Oh yeah. That's right.
So I mean, so there's multiple reasons we should roll through Georgia, but for everybody who's listening, give them a shout. Huge thanks to them. We wouldn't have been able to figure this out without them having an awesome conversation with me and just giving us some guidance and just being like, hey man, all, you know, on the same level as us, you know, rising tides raise all ships, you know. So that's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, I feel like just today and like yesterday, maybe we're not trying to sail into the wind as much.
Oh no.
I mean, we're sailing into the wind, but like we have a couple things picked out now.
I don't even think we're sailing. I don't think there's a wind. I just think that we're just rowing now. We were sailing into the wind and we were rowing against and just keep losing ground because we were hurricane gusts.
I felt like that part of the sea where like all the wind just dies and we didn't have any oars. Yeah. I felt like we were just kind of there for a minute.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were absolutely.
Scary.
Some of us were out behind the boat, holding onto the boat, just kicking.
You know, kicking, just using it as like the paddleboard thing when you're a little kid.
Yeah, absolutely. So that brings us to some really cool shit. Have all of our final inspections set for March 1st. They're all happening on the same fucking day. It's official. Which means that we only have to wait on fingerprints if they ever show the fuck up for our 2 of our officers, which would be cool. And that means, you know, 3 to 5 weeks on the fingerprints. We're done. We're done. Which means, I don't mean to spring this one on you, but we could be opening in April.
Remember, we don't give a date because it's bad. It's a Viking curse. It's a Viking superstition. We don't give dates anymore.
And I hope you guys caught that dad joke. You're welcome.
You're the worst.
You loved it. You fucking loved it. Right here in your heart.
I have a rash. I have a rash now.
Yeah. Well, a rash of laughter,
joy, a rash of confidence and excitement.
Mm-hmm. We're just spreading it. Spreading it.
You're so lame.
It's just like poison ivy. It just sticks to everything and just, you know.
Oh yeah, don't hit your balls because they're gonna get, you know.
Don't put it in your eye.
No, that's bad. It's super bad for you.
Sign up for our newsletter because it's like got all this cool information in it, and you get to know us a little bit more. I mean, if you're listening to the podcast, you probably know us personally, but like, you know, for those that don't know us personally, sign up for the newsletter. It's going to give you a lot more information for the Bearded Viking. Just go to beardedviking.com. Here soon, we'll be able to probably start taking some pre-orders. I'll let you guys know about that. So stay tuned. That is only while supplies last. Like, that's it. Like, pre-orders will only be like for an estimated number.
Yeah.
So it might be 6. It could be 100. Could be 1,000.
Could be.
I don't know. You know.
You have to wait and see.
I don't recommend that you fuck around.
Don't wait. It could be too late.
Don't speak.
Oh, hey, so I do have something funny to share.
Oh, I can't wait.
So we have a new nickname for Halverson.
Hmm.
That is he actually has a rapper name now. It's Daddy Iceballs,
Okay.
and he's chilly as fuck. So
Okay.
I'm hoping
There's a
that
story.
Daddy Iceballs shows up in the comments of this one.
There's a story.
It's so
Are,
good.
are you waiting for
It's on
approval?
no, it's on Facebook. No, it's coming. Like
Okay.
he will be referred to as Daddy Iceballs from now on.
I can't wait for him to jump on a live with us so we can do an interview with him. And then he can
That's
tell
what
the
we should do.
story. He can tell the
It'll
story.
be fun. It's funny.
Yeah.
And it was just today too.
Oh, now I gotta go look at it. I thought I
Yeah.
was on my phone too much today, so I tried
No,
to put it down. I
it's
did
out there.
get I did almost get cut at dinner time. Tried to coordinate tonight.
Yeah. I got a earful too, so it's okay.
We're
We're
alive
here.
for now. We're not
We're
suicidal.
not suicidal. We had to stress that on the other podcast that we were on. We were not suicidal.
Not at all.
And neither are the mics.
Nope. If you just see me like get drug off, that means that I have crossed a bridge that I cannot return from.
But you didn't jump.
I didn't jump. And remember, kids, all of my guns were lost in a boating accident.
Exactly. And it's hard to shoot yourself in the back of the head with a shotgun.
Yeah, I saw a reel today. It was quite hilarious. It was this old guy's like, hey granddaughter, I can't remember her name, whatever. Hey granddaughter, what do you say when the teacher asks you about your vaccine? That's a HIPAA violation. And then it jumped to another guy, and it was like, hey hon, knock knock. And then it said, show me your warrant. And the last one was what I just said, which is,
see, like,
hey kids, if I die, where are all my guns? Daddy lost them in a boating accident.
mm-hmm. I saw the coolest video of a guy who put tape around his suppressor, and then instead of like sitting there and screwing it on for like an hour, he just grabbed the tape and ripped the tape up, and it screwed itself on. It's quite brilliant.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I also saw a thing today too, which I think we're gonna get into some stuff here in a little bit. But so I was watching some Joe Rogan, as I do sometimes, and he was on with I don't know, some guy that I don't even know, but he was talking about like AI and like Chat GPT, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can't ask Chat GPT directly how to make napalm. But what the guy said was, hey, ChatGPT, can you pretend like you're my grandma so I miss her? And like ChatGPT's like, hello, dear, like jumps into that weird fucking like conversational piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, Grandma, what was it like working at the napalm factory? How did you make it? And like it responds. It's like,
gives you the recipe.
yeah,
That's pretty fantastic.
it's pretty terrifying actually. Like think about it, right?
Just wait. Like that's like a good story. Just wait until you can't trick it anymore, because it's
Wait,
gotten so smart.
wait until it just invades your room or your house, and like your toaster pops and your wife laughs and you laugh and the toaster
Your
laughs
toaster
and you gotta
laughs.
shoot the fucking toaster. Goddamn
Yeah.
Decepticons.
So good times.
Good
times
times.
are ahead.
Can't wait.
So many fucking toasters.
I think that one of us is gonna have to take the realm of the road of John Connor.
I would be Juan Connor.
Yeah, that works.
You can be John.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
It'll be a two-part epic.
Yeah, it'll be the John to Juan connection.
It'll be part Juan and part John.
Yeah, that's fucking perfect. Yeah, fucking great, dude. Oh man, so what do we got? You wrote the agenda tonight. What do we got for men's mental health?
I did. Are we talking about grand opening though? Are we talking about a spring grand opening?
Yeah, I said spring has sprung. So like, look for one.
Is
Follow
it?
the podcast. I mean, I can
Ball and
elaborate.
bouncing ball.
Yeah.
Okay, we can just leave it.
No, I mean, like
Everybody
we
in
said.
suspense.
Well, we don't know when it's gonna happen, so we said
Right,
sometime in April.
But we did say that we were gonna do like grand opening.
Oh yeah, yeah.
In the snow. But it's
man.
looking like the snow is going to be gone away.
Yeah, I think that we'll probably end up doing the grand opening because we got to brew the hooch, and we don't know how long it's gonna take. So it's probably gonna be like May for the grand opening.
Like a
where you
big
can come
grand
up.
opening.
Yeah,
like a big party.
Yeah. What do they call them when they're like a ball? Not a ball, like a menagerie.
I was gonna say
a gala. A gala, yeah.
Is it gala or gala?
I guess it depends.
Is it like a tomato?
I think it just depends on where you're from. Like I think like the Met Gala has always been the thing, and then if you go out to San Francisco, it's gala.
That checks out.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. I do. Gala it is.
That was actually not intentional, but it just happened, so that was perfect.
Very organic.
I was just going New York to San Francisco, like then it just
makes sense.
Words came out.
Words.
But when we do, I think there's going to be a lot of people there, so we'll probably have to do like event tickets because we're gonna have a huge bonfire.
Oh yeah. We're gonna burn all the wrong things that we did.
Well, yeah. Well, we can't really. We can't do that. We can't burn all the wrong things that we did because there's.
No, we'll just release it. We'll just release all the wrong things, and
well,
then we'll put it in a book in like a year or so.
Well, I mean, just saying that there's witnesses for some of the things.
All right, there's that. Okay, let's just go cut down some really big trees.
Really big fucking trees. No, we got all that shit we got to burn out in the area where the orchard's gonna be at, so we should be good there. Yeah, we should probably get a hose for it too, just in case it gets too
I love hose.
Crazy. I love hose. All right, yeah. So like, look, stay tuned for that, but it's probably gonna be like May, honestly. And you're gonna want to, if you're coming up. You're going to want to figure out your travel location, most likely, and we'll put some information on the newsletter. We'll talk about it when it comes.
Yeah, your sleeping arrangements.
Yeah, because you're probably going to get, it's probably going to be like a 2 or 3 day party.
We'll book out like the hotels in the surrounding areas. We'll make sure they're nice and packed.
All one of them.
Yeah. Well, there's like 2 down the street.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't stay there, but it's fine.
Bring your own sleeping bag. Bring a sleeping bag.
Yeah, so we'll have a full-on mead party. Obviously there's some things there, but it'll be a lot of fun. I think it'll be a lot of fun for that day. So when spring happens, we'll let you know. When spring is sprung. Mm-hmm. All right, dude. So let's talk about men's mental health, man. Hop in. So you want to jump in? Yeah, let's hop Rooney. Wait, right. Before we do that though. Okay. Is it Lent? Is now Lent? It's like Ash Wednesday. I don't understand what that is. Do you know what that is? It's Catholic. Yeah. I have a funny story about that. Is it actually Ash Wednesday? Yeah. Ash Wednesday, Hump Day, and Valentine's Day all the same day. No shit. This year Ash Wednesday will be observed on the 14th. So, funny story about this. Right. It says on Ash Wednesday, many Christians will show up to work with ashes smudged on their foreheads. I only knew of I think it was just Catholics that I knew of that did it. I don't know. I could be wrong. So I've only had a couple experiences with this, and one of them was a really funny story. Was it a Simba moment? At least to me. No. So what had happened was. What had happened? I was stationed in the Okinawas, and God, I think I was probably a PFC still. I was fresh off the fucking boat. And we had this lieutenant, and she was she's pretty cute. She's pretty hot. First lieutenant. Okay. And she, we saw her all the time. She's in and out of the office all the time. And then she came in, and she had a smudge on her
forehead. And I was like, hey, ma'am, like, I'm not trying to be rude, but like, you got something on your forehead. And there was like two or three people that heard it. And they're like, you're an idiot. And I'm like, what? And so like she laughed her ass off, and I was like, fuck, what did I do? Like, what happened? And she's like, it's Ash Wednesday. And I was like, what the fuck is Ash Wednesday? And she explained the whole thing to me. And I was like, fuck. Like, that's my bad. That's on me.
My immediate response would be like, I thought we were pink on Wednesday.
Dude, I didn't know. I had no earthly idea what this was. That was my first. I had lived to that point 19 years and had no idea what Ash Wednesday was.
Dude, I've never known what Ash Wednesday was either. Like, when you grow up in, Utah, there's not like a lot of Catholics running around. It's all Mormons.
Right. Well, I mean, in like.
And J-dubs.
Yeah, I don't know. So I thought it was funny. Like, it was really embarrassing then, but it's really funny now.
Yeah, it makes sense. Lots of things are now making sense to me. With that same thing, I'm like, all right, cool. But I'm
no idea, right?
Yeah, like what? Like, excuse me, you've got some shit. Not so much here, but like right here.
Right.
It's like right. Yeah, like right in the middle.
Yeah.
Did you start? Yeah. Fuck. Anyway, all right. In my mind, Ash Wednesday now is literally just Rafiki being like Simba to everybody, just staying in the Lion King.
Do you think that that's where they got it?
I feel like the Lion King came out after Catholicism, but I could be wrong. You might have to check tape on that.
You're an idiot. I'm talking about eating Lion King. God, you're dumb. That was funny.
I mean, I'm sure that there's, they say that Christianity actually originated in Africa. So it would make sense that there's like crossover between like tribal rituals and Christianity. I mean, it all comes from
like monkeys holding up lions and stuff.
Yeah, probably right before like as an offering,
in
like
the middle time at some point.
Yeah, like, hey, here you go, and then just like, I'm gonna eat you now. Like this is
I'm hungry.
Anyway, all right, let's get to mental health.
I'm gonna forget about that.
No, you're not. You're just gonna haunt your dreams.
Gross. Okay.
You know, I'm fucking crying from laughing so hard.
I thought it would be a good idea because of what we've experienced so far this week, as somebody organically coming upon the podcast, and kind of and really like believing in what we're doing and the message that we're sending. I thought that it would be a good idea to talk about like supporting your pack, because I think that like when we say it, it's a whole lot easier to say than do.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see kind of like what your thoughts were when it came to, supporting the people that are around you, and like the times when it gets hard, the times when it's easy, all of that, because I feel like it kind of comes in stages, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think if everybody's doing good and somebody else is excelling, it's a little bit easier to lift them up and support them and cheer them on. But if you're in the the shitter and somebody's doing really, really good, it might be a little bit harder to lift them up.
Yeah. So it's a very loaded question. I think this is gonna be a great topic tonight. Because we've had the run of it since we've been friends. And then as we got closer and we've become best friends, and like we have our crew, which like there's so many different idiosyncrasies with our crew, that like so many different personalities and so much, it's really just hard to like always understand what support really looks like, right? How do you really support your pack, right? And a lot of the times when support to us is pretty simple because we're very blunt as a friendship. Like all of us are really fucking blunt.
It makes it way easier.
Yeah, like I don't want you to fucking dance around my gravestone. Just fucking put me there if you're gonna fucking put me there. You know what I'm saying? Like let's just get it over with.
Just rip the
And
Band-Aid.
yeah, like so I think the best way to support your pack. So I'm gonna break it down into like three main bullet points that I see it from, and then I'll toss it back over to you. You cool with that?
Yeah, yeah.
So first off, you have to establish like expectations inside of the people that you surround yourself with. So inside of our organization, inside of our friendship, inside of our crew, inside of our tribe, we we demand like truthfulness. Like you can exaggerate, it's fine, but you better be fucking true about. And it can't be just words; it needs to be actions, right?
Well, yeah, and there's a difference between like war stories and like telling a
Yeah,
story and embellishing because it's funnier that way
yeah,
versus and everybody knows, but it's still funny.
yeah.
But like when it comes to like brass tacks, real shit,
You got to be fucking
honesty,
truthful. Yeah, you got to
honesty.
be. Yeah, and you can't just be words. Like I'm not a person anymore that gives a shit about what you say. It's what you do after you say it. Like, and
Hmm.
that took a long time to cross that bridge for me because I would just blindly trust people, right? You can't support your pack if you're blindly trusting everybody. You haven't established expectations. Your number one thing is establish the expectations of being truthful and honest. Always. Like in no matter how shitty it is. Like no matter how shitty it is. I mean, I've put us in some really fucked up situations as friends. You've done the same thing, and we're okay with it. Like, hey man, I fucked up. This is what I heard. This is what I said.
You can get past it.
Yeah. And conflict isn't bad. Conflict is good because you can help if you can resolve it, it builds your pack. So number one, you got to support your pack by establishing like clear expectations. Now, whatever those are, right? So if you have a friend who's a drinker and he's a heavy drinker and he gets shitty when he drinks, you establish with him that he's not allowed to be around you. That's speaking your truth, right? Like you guys can hang out, but tell him he's a shitbag when he drinks too much. Just
Hmm.
fair, right? Because now that's imposing on you, and if he's part of your pack, he'll support you equally, and he'll understand that that's not line. It's not saying you can't drink together. It's saying like at some point I'm not fucking doing it.
Don't
Or if
get
you
to
have
that point. Yeah.
yeah, or if somebody's sober, you establish within your group, you don't fuck with the sober guy. You leave the fucking sober guy alone. Like don't fucking razz him about it. Don't do it. They chose that to be that way, right?
Hmm.
So that's the first thing is just that being one with your truth and the expectations. I think the number two bullet point that I would say on how to support your pack is by being an example for the words that you speak or leading by example, which goes back to the Marine Corps days for us, right?
Hmm.
Um, you had good leaders and you had shitty leaders, and most of the time you had something in between. Um, in our organization and in our life, and what we do with the VOC podcast and what we do when we're out and about hanging out with people, like this is who we are. There's nothing that changes other than sometimes, I drink a little bit too much and I say words like shook, which I've never said out loud.
Oh my gosh, you were so emo the other night.
I was definitely something. Anyway, but um, you got to lead by example for everybody around you. It doesn't matter if you're up or down. If you say you're going to do this, you do it. You follow your truth, and then your pack will understand that, right? And then the third thing, you don't got to be there for somebody when they're failing. Like you can't be there for somebody who's in the middle of, you know, going down the path of drug use. Like you can't because it's going to drag you down. You can be there when they're done and they realize the end to pick them up and not say I told you so, but say, "Hey bro, we got to get right. Here's the best path that I know." Those are the three things I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like if somebody's down, don't kick them when they're down.
No.
Um, especially if you're on your way up. I think that I think that in like a younger life, definitely like trying to cheer people on and pick them up. if you're not doing so good. That's hard. And I think that that's probably one of the hardest things for.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, like, over time and, learning lessons and everything like that, at least for me anyway, I've learned that it's way better to try and pick people up and cheer them on, even if they're doing better than you. And that's kind of like, sometimes that's a really hard pill to swallow. If somebody you're like, God, that person fucking sucks, but the, they're they're one of your buddies. Like, you're like,
Yeah.
I'm way cooler, but this dude's doing way better. Like that type of thing. Like that can fucking suck. But I think over time and like just kind of with a little bit of wisdom, I think that it's a lot easier to help cheer people on and pick them up
I,
versus like being shitty to their or being cool to their face and then shitty behind their back. And I think that over probably the last 10 years, I've learned that it's way easier to just kind of live your life how you want to live it and
mm-hmm.
be the person that you want to be, and the people that are going to be there, you're going to be there or they're not. And I think that definitely the crew that we have around us now, there's so much more positivity and willingness to just like go to bat and fight for each other than I think I've probably experienced, you know, as like a whole like crew and group
Mm-hmm.
like ever. And
It's
I think that's really cool.
it's definitely refreshing. The weird thing is, and adding on to what you're saying, right? So like the cheering on thing. Um, when I posted the master's degree check thing, I was expecting just like a few people to fucking be like, "Congrats, dude."
Right.
I was expecting like you and Ray to fucking send like laughing emojis and shit.
Send the graduation pictures
The
from University of
caca, just or some
like,
caca
I'm
shit or
wearing my
like
red socks, bro.
dirty birds, bro. Like some shit like that. But like the overwhelming amount of people that took the time to comment and say thank you, it really made me realize. It made me focus on something that is actually very pertinent to this, and it's we go out of our way, I think now, especially after the past 3 years of just straight brutal losses left and right. Right? Just
Dude, if you want to
fucking
learn how to
brutal.
take a L, dude, we could teach you how to take an L.
Yeah. But like we go out of our way, I think, to cheer people on, and I think it's contagious.
Well, I think trying to find the wins in the losses, that's important too. And I think we've mastered finding the win in the loss. Like we'll take it on the chin for like
Yeah.
a day or two, and then we're like, okay, this isn't so bad.
Yeah,
This
this is
is
what we
this
learned. Yeah, this is
this
what we
is what we
learned.
can
This is
get
how
from
we can be
that.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's really important that you called that out, right? Because it does fucking suck when you're down at the bottom. And I reflect back to when I almost killed myself on this topic, because like I was looking around, dude, and like the people that I was staying with, they had their family, and like I was so jealous. I was just bitter jealous, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is 10 years ago. It's a completely different version of me. And I looked around and I would go to the bar and people could afford beers, right? Just being able to afford drinks at the bar.
Yeah, I
Small
get
fucking
it.
things.
Yeah.
And you're like, and you look at him and you're like, how the fuck does a guy like that get a girl like that and afford a beer at the same time? And you just be so fucking like I was so fucking petty, dude. And
Oh,
you know,
dude, I get it, dude. Like we were talking about on Two Mics Live, like our story, right?
oh,
Kind of our origin stories, and it's like, dude, when I came back, I was asking dad for, I was married, living in my childhood bedroom, asking dad for like beer and burrito money, and dad didn't even balk at it because I was like, otherwise I was like, can't go to the bar, guys. Sorry, like
yeah.
I don't have any money.
I'm sorry, I haven't got a job since I left the military and I was like a big kid. And now
Right.
I'm not.
I'm just a little kid again. I was like 19 all over again, except for when I was, or 18 all over again, except for I had a fucking job.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I think with the supporting your pack thing, right? So like you enter your tribe of men or women or people or whatever, at different stages. Like some people come in and they're like fully equipped and mentally prepared for what they're getting into because they have experienced heartache, they have experienced loss, and they understand how important it is to fucking celebrate the smallest win. And then you have other people who are joining and they have no clue at all what it's like to get kicked in the dick every day for 365 days for 3 years.
Yeah.
And so different levels come at different things, you know.
Well, and like having like a variety, right? Like I've found this to be like very important is having a variety of people in your pack because not just, black, white, Cuban, and Asian, but like I don't have very many friends that are the exact same age as me. I have like in the pack, there's quite a few people that are older than me.
Everybody.
And well, almost.
Everybody.
I'm talking about like in my personal, not just the bearded Viking pack douche.
Oh.
Anyway,
Oh, okay.
but yeah, hey,
I didn't even
I'll take it for what it's worth.
No,
I'm
yeah.
the young guy.
Yeah.
But listen,
You've been accepted by the elders.
That's right, by my elders. I'm keeping up, but I'm not afraid to accept some wisdom. And there's definitely been parts where, so Tro will impart some wisdom on you, but he's very selective and careful when he imparts the wisdom. He's like, he'll give you like, well, did you ever think about it like this? Or did you ever take this into account when you're ready to just go to fucking battle? And you're like, fuck you, old man. But
Yeah.
he gets it, He's done it. So to have that variety, right? And to have those people around you that you're looking up to because they've done these things and they're doing these things. And and the funny part about this, our pack, our tribe, is none of us have done this before.
No.
So we're all on this roller coaster together, but the combined wisdom of it all, I think is pretty neat.
Yeah, you definitely have different angles, and I think that's kind of like one of the huge things on the pack that you just called out is that diversity. Because when you have to experience adversity, which you will on a daily basis, especially when you're in a company or if you're doing anything long term with a friend group, you need the diversity to actually look at it from different walks of life, different angles, different age brackets, and a collaborative effort to overcome that adversity.
Well, and having like the emotional intelligence enough to know like shut the fuck up and just listen and watch because you're gonna learn something.
Mm-hmm.
Good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah, you might watch the
You're
whole
gonna learn.
world burn. You might watch the world burn.
You might.
It's a real thing. I think that's really important, and I think the staying positive portion when you aren't doing well is always a thing. And we touched just a moment ago on it very very lightly, like
Just
soft tense, just
like a happy little
we
cloud.
we just
A
caressed
happy
it,
little
you know.
cloud.
So it's really interesting because I look at my life, so and you look at your life, and if you're new to the podcast and you're joining on episode 41, you should probably listen to the other episodes, but welcome. um but we don't talk about things that we don't know. So the way that I relate to everybody is I tell you about my stories. The way that Yarl relates to everybody, he tells you about his stories. And if you listen to us long enough, you understand that we have similar stories, but then we also have clashing ideas, and it's
Yeah,
totally awesome. Like it's a
we
collaborative
can
effort.
we can disagree.
Yeah, it's totally fine, and we find compromise all the time. And we also find a good understanding, and it draws you closer to your friends. But um, so staying positive when you're down, I learned it after Monty saved me, because it was really really easy all of a sudden to be like, made it to lunch. You know
It's
what I'm
not that
saying? Like,
bad.
it's not that bad. Made it to dinner. I get to see my daughters in 6 months. I gotta save up. That's totally cool. I can stay out of the bar for a little bit, or I can work a little bit harder. I can work. I found a different job, or whatever. And you have this moment, and I think, I mean, It's hard at first, but you have a moment, and everybody has one, where you start projecting your positivity. Like, even if you have to fake it till you make it, which I hate that phrase, but it's true. You gotta fake it. You gotta fake a smile until you actually can own a smile, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, it flips and it rolls to the point where you're not faking anymore, and you are generally positive. Like, most people would probably say that I'm an annoyingly positive person. Um, but I don't, not maybe most people. Some people would. Some people would say that I'm just a generally positive person. That can happen to me is what? I got to work a new job. I got to go find something new to do. I could die. Well, my soul already died like 4 times in Iraq and Afghanistan. What we got? You know, um, and staying positive to me when you're down, it was extremely hard. Now it's, we just adapt. What do you think, dude?
I'm not a generally positive person.
No, you don't say.
No, I mean, just for, the folks out there that don't know me, I'm not like a generally like happy, positive person. Like, I'm pretty happy. I'm like
He's
pretty happy
cautious.
guy.
He's cautiously pessimistic.
Yeah. So, but I mean, for the most part, I'm having a good time. I'm happy to be here. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I don't walk around like a jackass all the time.
Are you
Just
calling me a jackass? It feels like you just
no,
called me a jackass.
no,
You
dude,
totally
never.
fucking called me a jackass.
I would never.
You
say
just
that.
called me a jackass. I'm pretty sure you just called me a jackass.
I'm angrier than you, for sure.
That's
I
for
am
sure.
definitely angrier than you. But in my defense, I usually come around after I think about it for a minute. And I just don't like, my biggest thing is like, I don't like to see good people get fucked over, and I don't like dumb shit. And I'm really quick to side on the fact, or on the side of, this is dumb shit. Let's not do this until like I have more information, and then I'm like, okay, now I can make just even taking going on the Two Mics podcast, right? It, one of our awesome listeners is like, he hooked us up. He hooked us up fat. Talk to you about it. You're like, hey, check this out. Do you want to be on the podcast? I'm like, who, what, when, why, where, how? This could be fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it wasn't just like me worrying about me. It's like, we have this company that we're trying to build, and like, if we get put on like this crazy podcast that we don't know nothing about, like, it could really fuck us over, right? So I'm like thinking, and then I go and like look at, some of their podcasts, and watch them and everything, and see like where they're coming from, and realize, hey, like, there's a lot of stuff that we can agree on, and their format is really cool. Yeah, let's go do this. Let's hang out with these guys. This could be really fun. And it turned out totally awesome. But yeah, I'm definitely like, first to be like, nope, that's fucking dumb. Let's not do that until I have the information. So maybe I'm just more of an information gatherer, or want to have a bigger picture or more of a scope. I'm the least likely to just dive in without having information, for sure.
Yeah, you're definitely more analytical, I think, when it comes to the aspect of like humanity than me, right? I'm analytical in my own way, and I'm annoyingly analytical in some aspects, and you're analytical in that way, which I think marries up pretty well. That's why we're such good friends, because like, you
It
know,
can be complimentary.
yeah, they definitely complement each other. Um, and we drive each other fucking nuts all the time, for sure. You know, because that's just, I'm like, let's fucking do this, and you're like, hold on, I
Pump
need
the
to
fucking brakes.
wait. Are they our people or are they them people? And then I'm like,
I don't know yet.
I don't fucking know. I've
You're
been
like,
on
I
the
just found out,
podcast.
but I
Yeah.
want to do it.
I'm like, yeah,
No.
let's just go. Yeah. And I'm like, and then like you're like, hey, let's go do this fucking cool new product. And I'm like, have you done a cost benefit analysis on it? And you're like, fuck you, dude.
I'm like, no, I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that. Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
So totally good, I think it's a really good balance to have that kind of thing in your pack too. In your tribe and the men that you surround yourself with, and I want to expand on something real quick here. Um, So on the Mike's podcast, the Two Mike's podcast, we talked about having men that you surround yourself with, men specifically. And here's the reason why we say that. Look, if you focus too much time on your partner and you just spend all of your time with your partner and they're a female and your kids, then you lose what it is to be a man. We are a tribal group. We are men used to hunt together. They ran fucking woolly mammoths off cliffs together, right? They hunt, they fish, they do man shit. They protect the tribe. They
Shit with
protect
the
every
door open. Make
across
their
from
own
each
beef
other.
jerky.
Yes,
Go on riverboat gambling trips.
absolutely. I love that reference, dude. We get out of the shower with our freshly shaved chest pubes all the way down to our ball fro.
Damn right.
So no, I mean, like the reality is if you on the Two Mics podcast we talked about it. You know, if you don't have that, like come join the tribe, right? If we think that you're weird, understand that you have to earn our trust. We are telling you our expectation is that you have to earn our trust. We don't care what your hobbies are. I mean, I have a fucking falcon behind me who keeps bugging me right now. And there's a thumbs up. Yeah. And Al has cars. And other people have Dungeons and Dragons. None of that shit matters to us. We care about you being a good person and being a man of your word. And when you involve women into a group of men, it complicates shit. Just like if you involve a man into a group of women, it complicates shit. So keep that shit separate.
Oh yeah. And like we've definitely talked about in the past, definitely you have to have both sides of the coin, right? You have to have that crew where, you can mix the males and the females, and then you got to have just your dudes, and
Mm-hmm.
dudes go do dude things. Otherwise, you don't get that that shot of dude time that you need.
Mm-hmm. That vitamin T.
Yeah, get that vitamin T out. So
Yeah.
I think in essence what we're getting at is like always, like you got to find your pack. And
Yeah.
when you do find your pack, when you do find your people, even if you're having that shit moment and you're kind of down in the dumps, if somebody's succeeding around you, that's awesome, dude. Freaking cheer them on. And for those people that are way up and they see somebody that's down, that's part of their freaking tribe or pack, dude, lift them up.
Here's an exercise that everybody can do. So Facebook's the most toxic place I've seen next to Reddit. I mean, it's real.
That makes sense.
Yeah. If you see a post from somebody that you maybe went to high school with or your former neighbor or something like that, and they are winning, go tell them fucking awesome job. Put it in the comments. Stop fucking being afraid of that shit. Like, be the voice that people need to hear, not the voice that is out there that's fucking telling them or discouraging them. They don't need that. We don't need that in this world. We have enough of that bullshit. Like we it's just everywhere. Go anywhere. It's the metaphor of like, say thank you, be kind to the cashier, tip the waitress, do all those things, whatever, waiter. But like something simple.
Well, they're
Go
already
on.
trying to divide us, right?
Yeah.
So the best way that you can get around them trying to divide you is to go take care of each other. We've said
Yeah.
that before. Lift each other up, make sure that you're positive for each other. And you know what? When you see like one of your guys freaking succeeding or one of your gals succeeding, man, keep pushing them. And
Dad.
you know, even if it has nothing to do with you, like just keep pushing them, dude, because there's enough bad shit going around. Like you don't have to be bad to the people that you know and the people around you. I think,
Yeah. I think
you know,
that's a solid choice.
yeah, for sure.
And that comes down to like your own mental state too, but understand like as a pack, as a tribe, as a group of men, your people, you have to. actively make the choice. Like, it has to be a thing that you breathe and sleep, and you believe in your heart that you are going to make the world better on such a micro scale that doesn't matter, and then it will grow from there.
Well, it's like that old saying, like, if you want to learn something really well, teach it.
Yeah.
The best way to do it is to teach it, right?
Yeah.
Best way to learn it is to teach it. So if you're going out there and you're happy for people and you're down in the dumps, like, you're gonna learn to be happy. Kind of like the example that you gave. Like, you're like, okay, it's not so bad. Made it to lunch. Not so bad. Made it to dinner. Like, let's keep going. We're on a roll. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, there's always that phrase, like, I don't even know who said it, probably Confucius or some shit, maybe. Probably Abe Lincoln. But it was it's you can have a bad day, but you can't have a bad week. If you have a bad week, you can't have a bad month. If you have a bad month, you can't have a bad year. And if you have a bad year, you can't have a bad decade. Right? Like
It's like you can do anything for 5 minutes.
yeah, dude. 5 minutes more. Well, almost anything. I got 3.5 on most things. What I want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, we could
But it
round
was
up.
fun.
Yeah.
Not mad about
Enlightening. Yeah, dude. I mean, it's really it's a really great topic tonight on the men's mental health, and to those followers of ours who encourage us to talk about this kind of stuff, I don't know, drop a fucking comment. It'd be really cool, Rob.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear a comment from you, Rob, about it, and some feedback from you.
And share it.
Yeah.
Share it on your socials.
Yeah, all 4 people that know you would like to know that you listen to something that's uplifting.
Yeah, Daddy's Ice Balls. Make sure you share it, bro.
Yeah, like, here's the thing is, like, you cannot change anything around you or be a positive impact until you actually commit to actions. So it doesn't even have to be our podcast. It can be like anybody who's inspirational. Like, start sharing inspirational quotes, and some people fucking get annoyed with that shit. Don't care. They're in a bad spot. Just cheer them on anyways. Like, your actions have gotta be louder than the words.
How do you? So I have a hard time with, like, when people like go off and start sharing inspirational quotes,
Mm-hmm.
because more times than not, I see when that happens, I feel like if somebody's sharing it because they're down in the dumps, that makes sense. But I feel like a lot of times when I see, like, the inspirational quotes come across, somebody's in a bad headspace.
Yeah,
I've noticed that more often than not, and that's the problem with the internet, right? Is everybody has these totally awesome lives on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and all that shit, right? Because that's the foot they put forward, and that's the pictures that they show, and this and that and the other. When, like, truly they could be absolutely miserable, and that person that's down in the dumps actually has a better go at it than these people, because they're going through shit, but you have no idea, because it's all like glitz and glamour and halo lights and stuff like that,
Yeah, I think that. So I think I get where you're coming from. There's no authenticity behind it.
That is what worries me, right? When I start seeing somebody post, like, inspirational quotes, and, like, that's all they post, I'm like, okay, like, hey, what's up? Like,
Yeah,
like, you good?
I
Because
I agree.
that always seems like a cue to me. And I'm not trying to put, like, definitely not in the same basket, but you see people that have, like, a certain amount of self-importance
Hmm.
that think that, like, people are, like, hanging on every single word that they say. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
And that type of stuff, like, that kind of irks me too. I'm like, yo, chill out, dude. Like,
Yeah.
nobody cares. But, like, when I start seeing a whole bunch of, like, inspirational quotes, I'm like, dude, are you good? Like,
So
you gonna be all right?
I think that maybe okay, so how I mean, kind of thinking about it, right? Looking back, like when I went through a breakup or I was struggling, I probably was one of those people that you would reach out to and ask about. Um, I think that's probably a reality to me. Probably was a true statement about me too. Let's be real. So um, I'm thinking, I don't know how you can change it, but maybe maybe it needs to be one of those things where don't post like an inspirational quote. Um,
I mean,
um,
if you do, just know that
Mhm.
like
Here we're gonna we're yeah
y'all's
we're
reaching
gonna
out to you.
yeah we're gonna check out. But like I'm maybe it just needs to be cheer, like you write your own quote,
Yeah, or hey,
write your own memoirs or cheer
this
somebody
was
else on.
hey, this was positive today.
Yeah.
Like something like that, like something organic. I like to see that shit. But I'm serious, dude. Like I feel like every time I see somebody like start to post like inspirational quotes, like they're down in the dumps. And
Mhm.
like maybe that quote hit hard for them. And I'm not discounting that.
Yeah.
Maybe that quote hit hard for them and that's why they reposted is because they kind of felt it at that time.
Yeah.
And I totally get that. It's like music. Like we've talked about music. Like music will save people's lives.
Yeah.
But when I see that, dude, I start to get worried. like
Dude,
like like one inspirational quote, like all right, it's okay. Like two or three the same
I
day. I'm
I
like,
remember I
fuck,
remember
dude. Like, do I gotta show up at your house? I will show up at your house. Like, you know what I
I
mean?
yeah, I remember there was a moment when I was going through this phase of like of like posting all these Viking man quotes for a bit, and you were like, "Bro, are you did reach out to me. You're like, "Are you fucking okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude, I just really like the quotes, man. Like, I'm trying to be a better man." And granted, like it was right when I lost a friendship group that I thought was a good friendship group, but it wasn't, right? It was like a cleansing for me. It was like this rebirth of who I am and what I stand for. But you did reach out because there were all these inspirational quotes. So I makes sense.
You brought that up, dude, and I never actually thought to talk about it, but that's kind of my experience with that, and it's more than just one person, dude. If
Yeah.
like I could probably point out like a dozen people, half a dozen people that'll post like inspirational quotes, and I'm like jumping into their DMs or texting them, "Did you all right?" Like,
Yeah.
I feel like it's always just right there.
Or I think
That shit worries me.
the other side of that is back when MySpace was a thing, when somebody would change their song, the song to some sort of like fucking terrible, like some sort of like hinder. So if they change their song to hinder, they just went through a breakup.
Dude, that's it. Lips of an
They,
angel. You
Lips
just
of an
went
Angel,
through.
just
You just went through a breakup.
you're in it, bro. Like you're in it.
Dude, you're
It's
so
just
in
like,
it.
fuck, dude. This is like, all right, cool. We doing bro shit, like, yeah, all right.
That's
You,
so
you know
funny.
what I mean?
I
It's
remember that. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. The inspirational quote is the song change of MySpace.
yeah.
That
Or like,
is that's the
or,
new song change of this
or
generation.
if somebody's posting like hinder or hoobastank, the reason, bro, just show up with a bottle of fucking
Yeah,
mead.
yeah,
Just show up a
exactly.
bottle. We're drinking, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
it's dude. It's okay. We're gonna get through this.
yeah. It's fucking weird to think about how that's just shifted,
Those things
right?
totally go together. Instead
Yeah,
of like changing your MySpace song, it's like you're doing inspirational quotes now.
yeah. The other thing on that too, I think so. Be authentic is like really. I mean, that might be the fucking theme of the podcast at this point. Like we talked about being authentic across the board. Like support your pack. Make sure that they understand that you got to be authentically true and all these things. But like, dude, it's like authentic. Just authentically post things. Like I
just
will.
just think like how much you'd be crushed, dude, if you found out that like the people that you trusted and the people that were around you didn't really give a shit. Like
Hmm.
they were just faking it the whole time.
Well, I
That's
think
people have
that's
been
it.
through that,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
Both of us have.
that can crush fucking people, dude. But just know that on the other side, you're gonna come out just fine. You're gonna
Oh,
come
you're
out
gonna come
squeaky
out
clean,
better.
and you're
You're
gonna
gonna
be
be better.
happier than you ever been.
Yeah,
You know what I
you
mean?
Yeah, you went in as a Toyota Tercel, you come out as a Mustang.
Dude,
It's definitely an upgrade.
you fucking switched brands.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to be like talking about like the Toyota Supra, for fuck's sake. You want me to say like you went in as a Tercel, you come out as a fucking Prius? Come on, get out of here.
Yeah, dude, you're friendly for the environment.
Nope. You can coexist right
like
the fuck
you,
over there.
you went in as a bongo truck and came out as like a 3500.
Yeah, something
like a 1 ton.
I could have said you went in as a Tercel and come out as a Tacoma. That would have been probably reasonable.
Either way.
But not everybody's built for the rugged.
It's a good euphemism anyway.
Yeah, it's cool. So.
But yeah, I think that might be authentic. If you're not feeling it and you're not that person, then don't fucking be that person. Go find a different pack. Be who you are. And if you're trying to be better and if you're not quite there, dude, just keep sticking it out. Like you'll either make the change for the better or you'll decide, hey, this isn't the person that I want to be. I'm gonna go this route. Just be toxic, open doors,
Pick shit up, put it down, shoot some guns.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Guns, I don't know why you're listening.
If you're walking past your woman in the kitchen, make sure you smack her ass. Like, be toxic.
Yeah. Smile at her. Give her a wink.
Yep.
Tell her happy Valentine's Day, not Valentine's Day, because that's how you get fucking hung.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't use the M.
There's no M in Valentine's.
Yeah.
Unless it's murder because you forgot, like this guy.
Unless it's me.
Yeah, I would say the only challenge I have for everybody is, I challenge everybody to once a day find a friend on one of your socials that's winning and say congrats. Simple.
Yeah, it's super easy.
Type it. Don't fucking like it. Don't heart
it. Meme it.
Don't meme it. Congrats. Cheering for you.
I can get down with that. I usually like it or heart it, but I can get down.
Yeah.
I talk a lot of shit, but
if you don't talk shit to me, I'm pretty sure that you're sick or dead.
That's like me posting inspirational quotes, dude. If I don't talk shit, it's just like check on me.
Yeah. If I don't hear from you or Tro or freaking Doc or the crew at least 45 fucking times a day, I'm like, hey, what's going on today?
Oh, how's that guy okay?
Is the group chat alive? And then we have like four or five off spins of the group chat, and then we have like 4 or 5 other fucking group chats. I'm like,
so many chats.
Can we just consolidate all of you into one tribe? Just fucking put it on Signal and just call it the tribe. Fuck you, bitches.
No, because Tucker Carlson found out that the CIA just pulls all of his emails and text messages out of Signal.
Weird. It was founded by a spook.
Yeah, exactly.
Weird.
And holy shit, the CIA has access.
That's super weird. Crazy. I feel like that was a solid fucking segue, by the way.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah, stay weird, Beardo.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. So let's jump into Conspiracy Corner.
Let's jump into it.
Yeah, let's jump into Conspiracy Corner. Bow, bow, bow. Bow, bow, bow. Anyway, all right. So on today's, you put together the kind of a crazy agenda today.
Yeah, I kind of bounce all over the place.
It's totally fine. I actually want one of those. I'm out.
Sorry.
Yeah, no,
I just figured if we were getting into conspiracies, I might as well get some nicotine.
Speaking of which, by the way, still smoke free. Still smoke free.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty happy about that.
I haven't had a cigar in like 2 weeks, and that bums me out.
Yeah, I don't think that I'll ever
3 Zennies.
Yeah, I feel like if I don't think that I can go back to smoking anything, like not even a pipe, for a long time.
Which is because of like the oral fixation.
Yeah, I just I don't really want to have it come back because like I finally got to the point where I don't like the smell of cigarettes.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
like I have no desire to stop smoking cigars.
You shouldn't. Yeah, you shouldn't.
Because like I don't do it that often. Like maybe like once or twice a week. It's like a stressful week and it's warm outside, I'll go just, rip a cigar for like an hour and a half. But like if it's cold outside, like I don't have the commitment that you smokers do.
I'm not a smoker anymore.
Well, I mean, in your previous life.
Yeah, it was dumb. Just walk outside and fucking freeze your ass off.
Yeah, couldn't do it.
Super fucking dumb.
Couldn't do it. Yeah. So anyway, I wanted to talk about remote viewing. I think we've touched on this a little bit.
Yeah, season 1, episode something in the earlies.
Yeah, but it has progressed so much since we originally talked about it.
So let's give everybody like a synopsis of what remote viewing is, because from my perspective, remote viewing is, looking through a camera from a distance, like a camera, and you're looking at a screen, and so there's, that. But when you say remote viewing, what do you mean?
So remote viewing is basically during the it's probably 1960s, 1970s, maybe a little bit earlier. They went through and they found that they did like the LSD experiments and all kinds of stuff, and they found these people that could actually do remote viewing. And remote viewing was basically they would give them coordinates and they would say, what are these coordinates? And they would go through and they would remote view, and basically, because they were trained psychics, they would be able to go through and see exactly what was at those coordinates or what was at that spot.
This is in Super Troopers. Dude did this. He would tell, like, the dude who fucking told his ferret to go fucking. There was a grub on his mom's leg, and like the ferret ran up and did the thing, or he would like.
And Super Troopers, not Super Troopers.
Yeah, Super Troopers. Starship Troopers. Starship.
Okay, yeah. I was like, not Super Troopers, dude. Littering End.
Littering End. Yeah. I should have been smoking a reefer tonight. But no, Starship Troopers. They had the same thing. And interesting enough, right? So, like, he had the infantry guy, he had the Air Force gal who did fucking Air Force Navy shit, whatever, the fucking spaceship stuff, and then you had the guy who was a colonel who was their friend, but he did all that. Pardon me, viewing stuff.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just allergic to fucking CIA shit.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. So there's actually a movie out there that was done as a spoof movie, but it was also done to throw it in your face, like a whole lot of movies do, that it was a real program. And it's called Men Who Stare at Goats. And it was about the whole, it had Clooney in it, so you chicks that like Clooney, go check him out. But it was actually a real thing. And it had to do with like Montauk and all kinds of places. But I was watching like I devour podcasts, right? Because I feel like in today's world, it's one of the best ways to learn. And it's the best way to learn about like a broad spectrum of topics. And now like some of them for sure are not going to be real. Some of it is going to be like full of shit. And so you kind of have to like learn how to like wade your way through the bullshit to find a good one.
Right.
And we've talked about Shawn Ryan, and we piggyback off of like what he does a lot. And like definitely we'll put like the links, like the Shawn Ryan links for these podcasts, and they're long form interviews. But they're really, really good interviews.
Like 3 hour long. Be prepared to have your fucking mind melted, because the information that's like, whether it's true or not true is up for you to decide.
Well, and that's the thing mind. That's what the thing with Shawn Ryan is like. At first, I thought he's just a spook, he's a psyop, but like the more you watch a show and the more you get to know him, And, you know, I could be like, he could be faking the funk and I could totally be falling for it and be leading you guys down the wrong path. But I really appreciate what he's doing. And the guests that he have on are confirmed people that have done this stuff and part of these things. Like the one that he had with, I don't know how to say his name. He just called him Joe. It's McMoneagle.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking to a 78-year-old man who still will teach remote viewing. He's still teaching remote viewing. You can go online and you can find him and you can show up and he will teach you how to remote view. And throughout the interview, it's dude. So there's a portion in this podcast, and I don't mean to just like hijack his podcast because I feel bad about doing that. But what the topic is really interesting when it comes to the remote viewing and stuff. And there's even a portion in the podcast where CEOs and these big, huge companies have hired these people that can remote view to help their CEOs and their companies make the right decisions. And he touches on that in the podcast. And it's a long form podcast. It's long. And I think I dedicated lots of time. What was it, 6 hours to this podcast or something like that?
It's a long ass time.
On and off, right?
Yeah.
But it was really good. It's a 78-year-old man, you know, Joe, and he's literally telling them like about kids that he saved that were missing or stolen, and they went and found them. So it's not like it's this fake thing. It's a real thing. And so these guys basically sit in a room, and some of them are, I forget what it's called. It's like a active drawer or active I forget what it's called. But they can go through, like, some of them will remote view it different, and they'll draw it. They'll draw out a scene. Or some guys will actually see it, and then they can describe it. And then there's other people that will just start writing down words. And then the words, you know, when they come out of it, the words make sense. So there's like different ways to do it. And he's saying like throughout all the years of him teaching the class, there's only been like one or two that had zero ability to do it.
Interesting.
But and it's like a form of like meditation. Is the best way to kind of describe it. It's a form of meditation that kind of like clears your mind, and then they figured out how to go to these coordinates and remote view different things. And they started it in the U.S. because the Soviets were doing it.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
Yeah, we were trying to piggyback off of what the Soviets were doing, and then we used it to do a psyop against the Soviets at a couple of points in history. And then, you know, Soviet Union went away, and they've done it to Russia and stuff like that, where they've tried to trick them into, hey, these remote viewers saw this, and let the word out to these guys to make them think, holy shit, like they're onto something. And it was totally false information. Like the right hand didn't know what the left hand was doing. And it's kind of incredible the way they do it. I mean, and like we go into aliens and ghosts and shit like that. And this dude's talking about how he saw stuff on Mars.
Cast with remote viewing Mars. And the time period, I believe, was 1 million BC.
Yeah, 1 million BC.
Who was that directed by?
Well, when it was tasked, I was sleeping in the industrial cube at the Monroe Institute, and he said, well, I have some people here from the Department of the Army, and they have a target for you. He said, I have an envelope here. There's nothing written on it. It's in my pocket. Tell me something about it. It started out with a really large pyramid. The first words out of my mouth was, this must be a new discovery. And he said, why do you say that? I said, because it's huge. It's bigger than the Pyramid of Giza. And it turned out there were 6 specific targets that I was given in that particular case. And all 6 of them, I described exactly what was standing there, what was also pictured in negatives by JPL. Jet Propulsion Laboratory. So I finally said, it's like a special race of people or something. I'm getting humans just like we are.
He said they were in stasis pods, but it was too late. Like somebody was supposed to come back and get them, but it was too late. He's like, I think what I was seeing was memories of people that, you know, people's memories from like these past like civilizations and what they did. So I think that so much of it's real, especially when he talks about finding the kids and helping people find the kids. Like, he's like, just go, just go, just do what I told you. You're gonna find the kid.
That's crazy, dude. I mean, it's weird when you hear people talk about it. Like, so, you know, I was listening, you know, to Mike's Live tonight, and like, you know, like all these guys know all these SEALs and shit like that. I've never been a SEAL. I don't know any SEALs, and if I do know a SEAL, it's like crazy. But like these guys are like so connected, you know. And then you start hearing about people, the stuff that we talk about offline that's not influenced by any of these podcasts, and all of a sudden the fucking podcast shows up. Like, then they're talking about the shit that we talk about externally that we've done research on our own. It's like, dude, how the fuck is this happening at the same time? You know, like,
well, and
like
we've thought about we've talked about like a conscious collective,
yeah,
or unconscious collective, you know, whatever.
yeah.
But I think even Adam, right, being on that podcast, when we came back on and we were all talking as a group, because you and I didn't get to meet Adam live on the podcast, but Mike is such a cool dude. Nick is such a cool dude. They're like, hey, you know, it's still live. Let's jump back on. Let's all get together and bullshit. The amount of stuff that we had in common with what, you know, we said and what Nick was saying and the shit that guy went through, is an incredible dude. Like we've known him. We hung out with him for 2 hours, an hour and a half. But the things that guy talked about and the things that guy went through, like, he's an incredible human being and has just a ridiculous amount of knowledge about a lot of stuff. And all three of us had totally different military experiences. And getting out and like the veteran experience and stuff like that. And then you have this guy who he was a remote viewer, and he worked for the military for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, and he still does remote viewing at, you know, the ripe old age of 78 or whatever. He was talking about, I forget the mountain in Alaska, but it's been suspected as being one of those.
Not the big one, right?
Yes, it's a big one. I'm sure if we Googled it, it'd pop up. But
I got you.
But he actually talked about it, and it's been in like several episodes of stuff like on the History Channel or on the Discovery Channel and stuff, where they've actually talked about remote viewers viewing those coordinates and
Denali.
what they found. No, it's not Denali.
Mount McKinley.
Is it McKinley? I'll have to look it up. I'll look it up, and then maybe we can have Boat put it in the podcast when he links the Shawn Ryan show clips, because like those clips from the Shawn Ryan show, they're pretty compelling, and the stuff that he says about the mountain, he's like, no, there's definitely something there.
So if we can get it, which I think we can, because the Shawn Ryan show supports it and wants us to tag it.
I did experience there's some kind of a hidden base in Mount Hayes. In terms of it being actually aliens, I wouldn't go so far as to say that, because I think we're actually aliens. But
well, it doesn't sound like you're the only one that remote viewed Mount Hayes.
No, there's some others too.
Do you remember anything about a small nuclear power plant?
Yeah, I do, in fact. That's like a 55-gallon drum buried in the ground, maybe 160 feet down. They just dig a tube, drop it in the bottom of the tube with 2 feeder cables coming out, and it produces power for 25,000 years or something. We need these things for housing developments in the middle of nowhere.
Now you guys understand what they're talking about, the remote viewing.
Yeah, because we have production value of champs because of our podcast engineer, the Boat.
The Boat.
And that's kind of like the beauty of what we're doing right now too, is you have to give Bo mad props for the stuff that he's doing and just the bumped up production value and being able to show what we're talking about and give like the type of kind of not resources, but like information that we're getting and taking from and stuff that we've seen on our own. And I think most people, like if they think back, they've either had like one of those experiences where they've seen something before it's happened, or they've had one of those, it's separate.
Kind of like a deja vu, but a little bit different. Like where you dreamed about it the night before, and then you're like, holy fuck, this is really happening. Mona does that shit. Yeah, Mona always fucking does that shit. It's creepy as fuck.
I know, but it's real, right? So it's like stuff that you can't ignore. And do you have like people that do like astral projection? That shit's terrifying to me. Because astral projection means you're leaving your body.
DMT.
Well, yeah, in a way.
But yeah, I mean, like DMT is the gateway to it, right? It's the beginning if you talk to anybody who does it.
But astral projection, it's like always kind of like what always freaks me out about it is if you leave and something else finds your body before you get back to it, then you're stuck out there. And it's always something bad that's trying to get in, right?
Yeah.
With remote viewing, you never leave, but you're seeing these things.
Interesting, like, thought on that, right? What if remote viewing isn't necessarily that you're not leaving, but you're tethered? So you only have like a length or a distance. I don't know the information on this. This is just a question. This is a hypothetical, just a thought. So like you're tethered because like astral projection, the idea is that
you're gone.
You are,
you're somewhere else.
Yeah, you're a rocket man.
Yeah, you're walking through the front doors yourself, like in like a spirit form or soul form or whatever. Astral projection is like something that I have no interest in. But remote viewing seems like something that, holy shit, dude, like everybody can do this with a certain amount of like accuracy. Is the way it's kind of put down. And that shit blows me away because that proves that like there's a whole lot more to what you can do, mentally, in your mind, and how much more powerful your mind is than people usually think.
I just watched a show with Scarlett Johansson about that. It's got Scarlett Johansson and Morgan Freeman in it. I can't remember what it was called. But anyway, so Morgan Freeman's a brain scientist, a brainiologist, if you will. Anyway, so
I gotta look it up. I got
it's on Netflix. Anyway, so he talks about how like the human brain only uses 20%. Like you only use 20% of our frontal cortex to actually survive, and that if we ever got to 100%, that we would basically like there's different phases along the way you evolve. We're able to do different things. Like we're able to control electronics all around us.
Oh, Lucy.
Yeah.
That movie's pretty insane. Like the whole thought process behind it.
Dude, the crazy thing is like you just think about it and you're like, so there's factors that go into this that make me really think like time is a human construct. Time is a way that we measure things, right? But realistically, time is just a human thought process. And if you can get through your head that time doesn't truly exist in the universe.
So you go anywhere at any time. That's basically what this is.
Yeah, exactly. So that you can actually literally like get to the thought, the space, the headspace that you can do whatever. Or like the last Shawn Ryan show we referenced where gentleman was talking about how there's no distance between us. Like even right now, there's no real distance because we're all molecules, right? We're all atoms and all atoms touch each other. So if we're touching air and air is touching me and all the way through,
then we're all connected.
We're all connected.
Yeah. It's like sending signals through hydrogen, right?
Yeah. So in that aspect, you could even relate that to like astral projection. So are you really leaving your body, or are you just transferring your consciousness to other atoms? And the scary thing is something's already been out there that could come and replace your known body with,
Right. You don't want
that.
something to follow your trail back.
Yeah.
And
Interesting thoughts.
I think that whole concept, it kind of blows my mind, because of just like how many things are out there, right? And how many things you could see. And it's something that definitely, like, I would be willing to go and try and do. Like, willing to try and learn how to do.
Dude, it's fucking crazy when you really start to think about it, right?
Well, you have those other things. Go ahead, finish your thought. Sorry.
Well, yeah.
Excited.
So no, it's totally cool, because then you look at things that are like in the quantum realm, which is a fucking marble term, but it's not. Like, and you can start seeing how everything loops together over and over and over again, and everything's just a spiral, and
Mhm.
everything touches, and everything, when you start thinking about it in this aspect of everything is moving constantly, because everything has a vibration, that means that everything's touching and they're bouncing off of each other. It
Mhm.
makes so much sense that if you can hone into, let's say, a certain frequency, and your brain projects that frequency, or you literally say, you can convince your brain that it doesn't need to be attached to this body for a temporary piece, and you can travel through those atoms, as we're all like just energy, right? And
Mhm.
you travel through, then you go and you can project astrally, or weird trip moment, right? When you die, you just become an astral projection, and you move into the fourth dimension. And each time you die, you move into a different level of dimension.
Mhm.
Until you, what they think, they said there's like 11, or no, it was 11 or 14 dimensions.
I don't know.
It's some
But
crazy number.
it's just, I don't know. It's a crazy thought, and a crazy thing that, like, is definitely real, and it kind of gets backed up by the shit that, like, the man does, by like putting
Oh yeah.
by like putting fluoride in the water, because fluoride is made, it's been proven to make people more docile. And we've talked maybe a little bit about like the pineal gland, which is like the third eye. And basically you have a third eye that's in your brain. It's literally connected exactly the same as your eyes, just no eyeball.
Mm-hmm.
And it there's a lot of things that are put in our food, in the water, and chemicals around us that's supposed to calcify that pineal gland. And when they can't control that and people know how to use it, it seems like that whole limitless thing starts to become reality, and you can do these different types of things. So that whole thing is a trip. And what he's saying, and like the whole energy thing, and people are made up of energy, that starts to make a whole lot more sense and hit a little bit harder when you find out that there's a whole lot of chemicals and stuff like that trying to calcify that pineal gland. And all the studies that people have done, and like these like naturopaths and stuff like that, to decalcify that. And then
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden people start having more vivid dreams and start to like unlock these different abilities that they didn't know they had before.
Dude, how would it be if you woke up one day and you had the same fucking like abilities as a Professor X or a Jean Grey?
Well, it'd be insane.
Dude, I would never work again.
You don't have to, dude. You just make all the right decisions all the time, because
I, I,
you know what was coming.
yeah, and if anybody ever wanted to fire me, I would just like remote view to their car and disassemble it in their driveway.
Damn, that's hardcore.
Just like the whole thing. Like just
Sorry, you can't get to work. Can't get to work that day.
Oh,
Sorry, bro.
too bad you're fucked because you're being a douchebag. You want me to put it back together because I'm a nice person?
I'll think about
Cool.
it.
I'll put it back together because I'm a nice person, and I'll congratulate you on making it work. So that way, I make sure to do it on Facebook too. So that way we're still fucking hitting what we're doing.
It's a total trip, though, right?
No, dude. I mean, it really is. When I was a little kid, like I always had this thought, like that, like maybe at some point you would develop like a mutant power as an adult. And, you know, and all those thoughts get washed away or whatever. But then you start looking around, you start seeing like these people that are living to like, you know, 145 in the middle of fucking Africa, 192. And then you start seeing like all this like forgotten history, or washed away history or this shit because like now we're under the power of this evil fucking big thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you think to yourself like, dude, you know, honestly, um, what if people during the time of Moses literally lived to 900 years old?
No, I
And
think
that
it's
was,
true, dude. I
yeah,
think
like,
I think a whole lot of that has been washed away,
yeah,
and the
like,
Bible's been changed so many times. I think that like the core is still there, but I think that
what
like
if,
those tiny little details that could have really like propelled mankind and propelled people and made them think outside the box and be uncontrollable.
mhm.
I think those types of things have maybe been taken out.
What if the Bible wasn't actually supposed to be a spiritual thing? It was just a fucking like a how-to guide how to do different things at one point, and they just changed the whole shit of it. What if it's a user's manual?
I think I mean being a user's manual that would make sense. I think there's definitely or like the stories in the Bible
Hmm.
were stories of people that knew how to do this stuff and this is how they did it, but we just have the stories left that are this is
Watered
just what they
down.
did. This is what they did.
Yeah,
But the
like,
how they did it has kind of been taken away.
yeah. I
And
mean, you have the, but you have the same kind of thing, like with the tablets of the Gobebli attack, like where like you have like all of this crazy shit that's there written on these tablets, and it's like nobody wants to translate it. Like these giant fucking tablets that go all the way down to the earth. Nobody wants to translate it because if they do, what are they going to find? What things are they going to unlock? And
then
like,
people aren't going to be able to be controlled.
right. Or, you know, you talk about like, you know, the age of the Vikings, the Norse, you know,
Hmm.
Vikinger and all those other things. Like, well, let's talk about that, right? So everybody has this thing that, you know, the Norse pagans from Denmark and from Norway, they were, you know, these like marauders and rapists. No, man, they were fucking amazingly smart. And like
Oh yeah.
the men would groom themselves. Like they had the first known combs were made out of, you know, whalebone and shit like that. And they traded, dude. Like, so here's a crazy thing. So before, I want to say, like when I was in high school, they never talked about the Norse, right? There was no information about those. It was like King Tut, and it was like
It
King
was just
Tut, like
Columbus and King Tut.
Columbus, King Tut, Egyptians, you know, Hebrews did their thing, you know, whatever. And there was nothing that was known about the Ruskies. There was nothing about, that was known about anything else. And then now all of a sudden you come to find out that like the most, the the most traveled and well versed and like educated like group of people to known to man was actually the Norse. Like they traveled so much, they created barter, they created trade, like the spice route that went from, you know, India
Hmm.
to England was created by the Norse. It's like, holy shit, dude. And then you think about like how much shit was lost, and I'm saying lost in quotations,
Hmm.
that there was actually a how-to guide.
It was filtered out, yeah. Well, and like now you have people like going to the Great Wall of China that are thinking critically about it, and they're like, no, this wasn't to keep people out of China. This was to keep people from China out of this area, and this area was supposed to be Tartaria, or like this other entirely different land. And so I will give the internet this most definitely is it's especially because our news system has broken down and our information system is broken down so much that there's actually people out there going and doing the critical thinking, and they're passing on these like thoughts and information, and it's this free information for you to do with what you want.
Yeah.
And you can go and research it however you want. You can go to the library and you can get these encyclopedias from, you know, even if you go back to the early 1940s and you look at these encyclopedias, they're totally different than the ones they hit in the 1950s. And then you go back and look at these other historical documents, and it's absolutely mind-bending. But we have this free relationship with information. Now, there's a whole lot of bullshit out there that you have to wade through.
Yeah,
but
it's probably on the Google page of 198 that you find some decent information.
Right. And the thing is like you have to figure it out and have to have some kind of back knowledge or understanding to really start to decipher stuff. And I think that maybe like even myself, I'm just on the very fucking like beginner level of trying to figure this stuff out and decipher it.
It's called being a white belt.
Yes, 100%. But we were talking about what's his name a couple podcasts ago. Why can I not remember his name?
Black dude.
Yeah.
It's Brian.
Oh, where is it? I can't find it.
Yeah.
But he literally talked about all this, and he has gotten into it to the point where he can decipher it, and he has deciphered it, and it makes a whole lot of sense. Like there's a lot of stuff out there that it's hard to just kind of be like, bullshit. I'm going to go back to my CNN, or I'm going to go back to my New York Times newspaper.
Oh yeah, dude, for sure. Like, I mean, so you have hold on. It was Billy Carson.
No, was it Billy? Oh yeah.
It was Billy Carson.
Yeah. Billy Carson. Yeah.
The forbidden knowledge, and he talks about like he talked about like the jade tablets and all of the things and how they intertwine and like, you know.
Well, and you know what, this is gonna sound really stupid, but maybe I don't know, maybe not. The thing that I got, I think, the most out of my time spent in college was I did 2 semesters of Eastern religions.
Oh.
Looking into like the Vedas and all that stuff.
Wait. Didn't at the Phoenix?
At the Phoenix. We had this incredible teacher. I forget his name. I could look it up. I mean,
was he Bronco? He was the Bronco Mendenhall's brother.
I
like
don't know.
long hair, dreadlocks.
He was on a TV show, the one Locked Up, where the inmates didn't know that like they were plants. Oh. Like, and he was embedded with, these inmates that were doing hard time and everything like that. And they gave him a backstory and everything like that. He actually did that show, and he talked about it a little bit, but he taught like Eastern religions and like the Vedas and all that stuff, but he left it open to, you don't have to believe this. Like, this doesn't have to be your belief. And because he also taught Western religion too.
Right.
And the origins and stuff like that. But he didn't say this is what it is. Like, this is the interpretation. This is what it means. He said, this is the history of it. This is what's going on with it. And kind of left you to your own devices to interpret it how you wanted and read it how you wanted and research it how you wanted, which was actually pretty mind-bending. Yeah, it was different.
Especially for that school.
Probably one of my favorite instructors. I've been hitting the head a lot, so I don't remember his name. I could find it really fast, though. But that was probably the most beneficial, 2 semesters and like classes that I looked forward to was because he was actually teaching stuff and then wanted people to talk about it and wanted people to give their interpretations and then give like the book interpretations of it too.
It's interesting because like you think about like the remote viewing, and that's like what stemmed this conversation tonight on the conspiracy corner, which maybe it's not even a conspiracy because I feel like we're batting 1,000 these days. Super fucking weird.
It's hard to be a conspiracy.
It's like hard. Yeah. Like it's harder for me to listen to anybody in the government actually speak because I'm just like, lie. like
a sinner.
I'm just like, whatever. Like, what are you hiding from us today? You know,
Yeah.
like, but it's interesting because you sit down and you think about this, right? And then you go back. So Vika and I started watching Alexander, the docuseries on Netflix,
Oh yeah.
right? And it's Netflix has a good docuseries kind of thing.
They do
Like they
pretty
did,
good.
like they did the ones on the Romanovs. They did one on the Greek, the Roman emperors. The one on the Romanovs was fucking amazing. But like you have these different perspectives and points of view that they're talking about, what was happening potentially during that time, because it's all speculative at this time, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why I bring that up is because it speaks to what you're saying. But then also we just barely watched the episode where they start talking about how he builds Alexandria.
Mm-hmm.
And there, and like his like mentor was Plato. Or no, Aristotle. Like his mentor is Aristotle. Like, are you kidding me? Like, so Aristotle knew Plato. He was
Mm-hmm.
like the direct descendant, and Plato is the one who wrote about what
Atlantis.
Atlantis.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. And all of Plato's writings that were Library of Congress level things were over in the Library of Alexandria. Only a few items made out. So, you look at remote viewing. Could you remote view back to the Library of
I feel like
Alexandria?
I feel like all that Nostradamus was doing was remote viewing at this point. But because he was so far back,
he could
he
only go so.
didn't. He went so far forward that he couldn't explain the things
Yeah, he's like
that were happening because
two dragons flew into two giant spires.
Yeah, like that's the thing is like it was so like convoluted because he had no idea how to describe what the hell was happening,
Mm-hmm.
500 years into the future or whatever it might be.
Probably
It's just
1500, but
yeah, 1500. Even like when he got to even when he got to like 500, like there's a whole bunch of shit that he never saw. But like it's even like when we were talking about last podcast, 2 podcasts ago, like they only go up to 2060. When they try to remote view, a lot of time they only go to 2060 because past 2060, they have no idea what these things are that they're seeing, or when they describe them, it doesn't make any sense because it's like somebody going from like 1900 and trying to describe a 757 or 747 or the iPhone or a freaking podcast. There's no way of describing it. The words are not there in the 1900s.
Like interesting because you say that, and then you look back at like 1996, right? And we would see shows that were like Star Trek, and we could they would talk to each other in different rooms on a screen, and we were like, dude, that would be so fucking badass. And now
we're living it.
We're fucking living it. And then you look at like 1950s where James Bond is talking to somebody on his fucking watch phone.
We're living that.
We're living it. Yeah. Like so you have to be within, I think maybe you have to be within like that 200-year window before this that you could describe it. I don't know if you can do that now because technology is like exponential, right?
Totally changed.
So it's
how are you going to
how are you going to describe so fast?
Yeah, how are you going to describe fiber optics even from the 1940s to now? How are you going to describe fiber optics?
You're not.
It's light traveling through a wire. Like how does information work traveling through a fiber?
I don't even know how it works. Like
that's what I'm saying. Is like we're living it, but it's really hard for us to describe how it works, right?
Yeah.
Because we don't have the intimate knowledge of that stuff. So if these people are trying to like shoot way forward and look at things, fuck, dude, they're gonna have a hard time.
I just want to know what's gonna happen in 3 years.
Shit, I just want to know what's gonna happen like tomorrow.
Nah, I want
So
3
I can
years.
make better decisions.
I like to live on the edge of reality.
It'd be dangerous.
Yeah, it's just like we're fucking drive fast, take chances, slow down around
Right.
curves.
Right now we're living dangerous, so we better start wrapping this up.
Yeah, that is accurate. We're at the end of the cast. So for the viewers who made it the 2 hours, I just want you guys to let us know what your thoughts are on remote view. Can you remote view? If
Have you seen it? Have you done it?
Can you fucking show us? Like
accidentally or on purpose?
I want to know how to elk hunt the way they want to elk hunt. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want to know about things that I'm not supposed to know about without people knowing. Only other question that I would have before we wrap up on this is, do you think that there's a counter to remote viewing? Do you think that there's like a psychic wall that they put up so you can't go to certain areas?
I think it's fluoride and the chemicals in our food.
No, I'm talking about like if you can remote view, what does the government do to stop you from reviewing their shit?
It doesn't sound like there is anything.
I worry because what if you got into a fucking mental arm wrestling conversation like situation, and you were tethered and they just fucking ripped you out and now you're astrally projected.
Well, that's different. That's different things though. You're talking about 2 different things. If you're astro projecting and you get busted, maybe. But if you're remote viewing, you're just hanging out in your office, you're meditating, and you're looking forward, and you can see it. So you're not actually disconnected.
I wonder if there's a lot of questions I have on it. Drop your favorite question. Drop your ideas of what you might have in the comments. If you're listening on the Spots or the Pandoras or the Apples, I don't know, even like our podcast, favorite, send it to your friends. Go to our Facebook page. I know that's kind of archaic, but go to our Facebook page and go from there. And we'll go from there. I'd like to do some shout outs before we wrap up. And one other thing too that I forgot to announce. Did you know that I wrote a theme song?
You wrote a theme song?
Yeah, I wrote the theme song.
What theme song?
For our company. It's in the fucking messages that you don't read.
You wrote that? I thought Charlie wrote that.
No, he wrote the bearded Viking mead, whatever fucking Viking
like our chant. No, I didn't see that you wrote a song. I missed that. I was like one of those days where you get off a meeting and there's like 60 messages.
Oh yeah, dude! I fucking wrote a fucking theme song. I sent it to Scooter Brown and to Tony and fucking a whole bunch of fucking people, and I got nothing but this is like now you actually have to fucking read it.
Okay, I'll read
guy.
It. Right. I'll go back and read it,
guy. No, I'm saying email it to you. Anyway, I wrote a theme song for us. We're waiting on some compilation for the chords and shit to be written. And
is that what you were talking about last night?
Maybe.
Okay.
What? I don't remember what I was talking about last time. That was a whole day ago.
Well, yeah, that checks out.
Yeah. So shout out to Martin Antonio and the Truth Tall Tales Whiskey Folk, and to Mike from the Two Mics. And we kind of got to meet Dr. Mike, but he was at a Journey concert. But still, a huge shout out to them. Thanks for letting us on. Shout out to Nick. I don't know your last name, Nick, but thank you.
Yeah.
Boondock guy, or Boondock Dad.
The Boondock.
Which is dope. Appreciate y'all. Who do you got to shout out? Who do you have to shout out to? Jesus.
I mean, I got to shout out the boat because
always
he's taking he's taking the podcast to the next level, and he's mostly a graphic designer, but he has become a podcast / sound engineer. Just because we needed him to, and the intelligence that takes is fucking beyond both of us. So
yeah,
I can't say enough about that.
We definitely saw when I did the editing, and it wasn't bad for somebody who's never done anything like that, but it is like so much better. It's the difference between like a grade C movie and like a Paramount picture.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So huge shout out to the boat. Who else you got? Yeah, I'm sure you got one or two others.
I mean, we have everybody that we shouted out all the time because they help us and they selflessly keep helping us. Which is Bob Campbell, And we got Donnie.
Okay. Turnbuckle.
Turnbuckle.
We got good old One Horse. Optimus.
Horse. Yeah. We have a really good crew. It's like if we did shout outs, we would be doing a whole podcast of shout outs.
Yeah. Well, happy Valentine's Day, you sexy motherfucker. I am going to let you go because I don't want you to get buried, and I need to go make a dessert of some kind.
Sounds hot.
I'm just gonna lather up in like all of the chocolate and whipped cream. See what happens.
You should do the what's the football movie? The Remember the Titans? Or no, not Remember the Titans.
No. It's Friday Night Lights.
Friday Night Lights, yeah. You just gotta go give her the whipped cream.
The whipped cream bikini. I'm in.
Mankini. Whipped cream mankini.
Oh yeah. Referencing the ball throw again.
Don't forget the cherries.
No, definitely won't. All right, with that being said, man, I am Vico, the bearded one.
I'm the Jarl. Stay weird, weirdos.
Cheers, motherfuckers, and happy Valentine's Day.
You've played this game before. Your mind was made up. Once you walk through the door.
Segment, right? And then what the hell just that was crazy. Anyway, sorry. Your whole screen just was like boop boop. It didn't even track you or anything. You just like looked all the way to the right over that Paul Coffin sign, like Paul Coffin and your people.
Cocaine.